Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of In the Eyes of Truth. I have, as our guest back with us is the new Russian citizen, uh, Andrea Lucidi. I am always killing people's family names. Um, welcome back. How's it feel to be a Russian citizen now?
No, I feel very, very good.
Hey there, entrepreneurs. Are you feeling the squeeze from increasing regulations and higher taxes? Maybe you've noticed the growing instability and thought there has to be a better way. Well, you're not alone, and that's exactly why you need to consider offshoring your wealth now. Imagine a life where your hard-earned money isn't constantly under threat from unpredictable government policies. Sounds pretty good, right? Let me tell you. It's not just a dream, it's a smart strategy. Here at Exit Strategy, we specialize in helping entrepreneurs like you protect and grow their wealth. We navigate the complex world of international finance so you don't have to, from setting up offshore accounts to advising on the best countries with favorable tax laws. We've got you covered. Now, I know what you're thinking. Offshoring sounds risky, maybe even a bit shady, but the truth is many savvy business owners are already doing it. It's not just about dodging taxes, it's about creating a safety net for your future. Imagine diversifying your assets across multiple jurisdictions. When one country faces economic downturns, your wealth remains secure. Think of it as an insurance policy against the uncertainties of life. And let's not forget, having a portion of your wealth offshore can open up opportunities for international investments. You're no longer limited by the economic climate of a single country. You can tap into booming markets around the world, maximizing your returns. But here's the kicker. Time is of the essence. With increasing global scrutiny and tightening regulations, the window for easy offshoring is closing fast. The sooner you act, the better positioned you'll be. So why wait? Protect your wealth, secure your future, and explore new opportunities with Exit Strategy. Don't let the rising dangers in the US economy catch you off guard. Reach out to us today and take the first step towards financial freedom. Because when it comes to your wealth, playing it safe is the riskiest move of all. Thanks for watching, and remember, your future starts with the decisions you make today. Choose wisely, choose Exit Strategy. Catch you in the next video.
I waited this for a long time, and yeah, it's big, um, a big. Sorry,
Mhm.
I waited this for a long time, and this was a big victory for my life, a big goal. Yeah.
How did your family react?
Sorry.
How did your family react?
From Italy, my mother was not surprised because she know that I also wrote a letter to the President Vladimir Putin for asking help due the bureaucracy and about my situation with the constant tethering of sanctions by the EU Parliament.
Yeah, so as I recall when we talked the first time, you were talking about that there was possible criminal cases against you for reporting out of the Donbass. Is that something that's still there?
Yeah, so till this moment there is nothing concrete, but this is a stable threatening against my work, against me, because many times there were official questions in the Italian Parliament about me, about my work, about events that I contribute to organize in Italy, against some colleagues that are working with me, against international reporters, the press agency where I'm editor in chief for the Italian publication. So there is this situation it's very hard to understand why the European and Italian authorities continue to um, make such behavior against me, against other colleagues like Vincenzo Russo. I don't understand. Okay, we are covering the conflict in Donbass. We are pro-Russian, we can say, yeah, but this is not against the law. So European Union uh, theoretically need to protect and defend the freedom of thinking, the freedom of speech, but practically, if you are against the main narrative, you are an enemy.
So with all the problems that Italy has, the Italian parliament has time to complain about one freelance journalist and his associates.
Yeah, yeah, this is
Incredible.
that's very strange. But yeah, you can imagine how many resources they use to make investigation about me, where I'm based, which country I visited, what I wrote about Donbass, about Russia, about Belarus, about Lebanon. So it's really strange. And for example, the vice president of European Parliament, Pina Picerno, she wrote that I work for Russian propaganda. For this reason, I need to be sanctioned by the European authority. She had
Wait. Did you say
she has like
assassinated?
16 sanctioned.
Oh, sanctioned. I thought you said assassinated. I was like, wow, they
Yeah.
really upped the ante.
No, 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 no. No.
I wouldn't be surprised
There
these
is
days,
not
but
this
wow.
level till now.
Okay. So we haven't quite gotten that far yet.
She has 16 co-workers. So she has 16 person that are working for her, and with all this support, she often make a mistake and confound me with my colleague Vincenzo Lorusso because we are two Italians here. And she said maybe that he is working for this media, I'm working for another media. So with all this support, with all this money, I also make such mistakes. It's funny.
Yeah. So, I haven't been to Italy since 2018 when I worked for an Italian company. And Milan was in very shit shape. I don't know how else to put it. Uh,
It's the same till
overrun
now.
with immigrants. There were lots of homeless, lots of gangs, migrant gangs. Streets that hadn't been repaired in since 2008. They were still being locked down for repairs. So many issues. Bums on the streets, people crapping under the trees, and they have time for this. And Milan's the main manufacturing city. Uh,
Yeah,
incredible,
yeah, unfortunately.
incredible. Well, welcome now as a full-time Russian citizen. Did you retain your Italian citizenship?
No, no, because for the law, the Italian authorities cannot take back my Italian citizenship because I'm Italian as I born as Italian, and she cannot they cannot take back my citizenship. But very interesting, there are some people in social media that are starting to ask this to the authorities. They uh, are, of course, pro-Ukrainian activists that have some there are some political organization that support them, and they start to say that we need to modify the law for take back the citizenship, the European citizenship to from these people that they are traitors of our values, of our freedom. You can imagine.
What freedoms exactly are you a traitor to? What
This is a good
what
question. I don't know.
freedom did you betray? Uh, Freedom to kiss somebody's boots.
I cannot answer to this question. It's very strange that such people pretend to be at the side of freedom, democracy, etc., etc. And then, oh, look, this guy asked to the for the Russian citizenship. We need to take back the Italian citizenship because he's a traitor of our values, our freedom. So, yeah, they're very democratic. Thank you.
Well, you do notice when all these m mini tyrants, what they're saying. We must defend our democracy. That's their democracy, not your democracy. You don't get democracy. It's their
Yeah,
democracy.
of course, I don't feel myself. I don't share such values, such democracy, such freedom. But you know, the main things that I hate from this people is their hypocrisy because they pretend to be against the discrimination, against limitation of rights, no, but only for people that are thinking like them.
Yep.
You cannot, for example, you cannot in Europe say that maybe you are against the right of asylum for migrants. Okay, you cannot
Hmm.
because how can you say that the right of asylum need to be changed? It's a big taboo. But you can be free to say, oh, look, there are Russian minorities in the Baltic states, and the Baltic states uh, pretend to apply an apartheid against them. Okay, they are Russian. It's okay. They can go back in Russia and stay there because they are against our democracy, against our values. They are Russians. So this is what I hate from this system, the hypocrisy.
I had an American acquaintance back in 2014 who, I'm from Lugansk originally myself, where you're at right now. And his brilliant answer is, well, if they don't want to live under Kiev, why don't they just pack their things and go to Russia? It's a big country. Like, so why do people that have been born for generations, for some, depending on which towns and villages, for maybe 1,000 years, have to pack up because some imbeciles with swastikas comes over there and says, "You're not human. We want you out." And you frame it differently,
Yeah,
and any
this is
American would be
practically what
screaming,
they
"Oh,
say.
that's not right." But when it comes to Russians, incredible. So, how's
Yeah.
Italy right now?
Now,
What's going
unfortunately, you say
on?
incredible, but unfortunately now this is not no, it's not incredible. This is the standard um, hypocrisy moral of the West.
Yeah, yeah. How's Italy right now? I mean, we look at UK is on the edge of collapse and civil war. France is France. They're like protesting a lot, but they don't seem to ever get anything done. I think it's more of a hobby. Um, well, the Germans Western Germans are lockstep with whatever the government says. What's going on in Italy? How is it faring economically, socially, illegal migrants?
Well, at the moment, I will start to the good news, the good part, and thanks God, the situation about Italian people it's not desperate. In the so I want to say that the majority of Italian people it's against sanctions. It's for normalization of the relations between Italy and Russia. It's for peace against the new real policy of the European Union because like 75, 70 percent of Italian people don't want to pay for the war against Russia, and this is the good part. We have a lot of people that are interested to hear information from Russia, about Donbass, about the war, what is our perspective. That there are big interest for this. About the economic situation is
What? Before you go to the
a
economic situation, one
disaster
question.
because
One second. Andrea. Okay, that's the people, but are any politicians listening to the people? I got
uh,
your answer.
no from the main politicians.
Yeah.
That there are a lot of small parties that are trying to say to the majority of these people, guys, we are here, we can work for you, you need only to vote for us. But it's very difficult to change the votes in the polls because mm, there are uh, center of powers that are like crystallized in the decades. And now it's very complicated to change these things. So that if there are people that are vote for decades for the Democrats Party, they will continue to vote for them, also if they are not 100% agree with their policy. But it's like an automation, so that they need to vote for the same party. It's
You know,
very difficult to tell the people, look, there is this small party that can be grow, can be bigger if you vote for them. But they say, why I need to um use my vote for a useless party, for a useless vote that cannot have a big strength in the parliament. It's difficult.
that always amazed me because, in the U.S., people only have two parties. They're really
Mm.
not that different reality. The old timers are all basically just as corrupt in the same way, but you really don't have a choice. The Americans have zero choice. Now you've got in a parliamentary system, you've got multiple parties, and people still don't exercise their choice. Amazing.
Yeah.
Sad.
Yeah, difficult. And about the economical situation, this is a disaster because the people in Italy, it's um so the salaries are very poor, uh, always poor, and we can compare the salary today with the salary of 20 years ago, and today they are like 12, 15% less than 20 years ago. And of course, the inflation it's growing up also due to the sanctions, due to the gas price, energy price, and it's for Italy, for Germany, it's a disaster. There are almost zero level for development of new high technology industries, and of course, for the long period, this is a disaster. And the politicians are not interested to solve concrete this problem. So they prefer to ignore the problem or say, oh, look, the youth will not work. They only pretend to be well paid for doing what I make 40 years ago for the half salary. But we can say that this tactic, this strategy is not working. And this is a common problem in almost all European Union. And this, of course, have some consequences for the social side because there are a lot of irregular migrants, a lot of illegal migrants that are still to live in Italy. Also, if the new government, now I cannot say new government, also if the government with Giorgia Meloni pretend to be an anti-illegal immigration government, but at the practical side, they will make nothing because there are huge number of illegal migrants that are make nothing, that are living near in place like near central station of Milan, central station of Rome, and there are a lot of ghettos in the big cities where you cannot go and work during the night because it's very dangerous for your security. Um, when I was in Caracas in November and September last year, I feel myself more safe that near the central station of Milan during the night. You can
Yeah.
imagine.
I remember 2016. I was in Milan for about a month, working at the main office, and I'd been to Milan before. I mean, I'd set up 2007, 2008. I'd been in Milan, and then setting up conferences with our European suppliers. So I got bored. Didn't know what to do. So I was like, I've been everywhere except me and my wife had been there in 2008, and the Arc de Triomphe was under repair, so you couldn't see it. So I'll go visit the Arc de Triomphe. So I'll go past the Castello and that big park, the big forest park, right between that and the Arc de Triomphe. And I walk in there, and on the edge, it's a little drizzling. It's Sunday, midday. There's still some Italians on the edge. I walk into the park. It's all Africans, right? There's no white people. I don't know how else to put it. There's only Africans, like three, four Africans on every little meadow of grass, and they're all staring at me. And I'm like, they got that I'm the gazelle and they're the hyenas type of feeling. They just put the keys in my fist. I just walk right through it. The first guy that gets up to me is just gonna get a fistful of keys in his. They didn't touch me. They all stared at me like, and I don't look like an Italian either. I just took a walk through like I beat the shit out of the first person. Going back, I didn't go through the park. It was dark already, so I made a big circle. I'm not that crazy, but the next day, I talked to one of my coworkers, and he was shocked that you went to the park. Italians don't go to the park. I'm like, you got something wrong with your country if you can't go to the park anymore. And that was
Yeah, yeah,
2016, 9 years
yeah.
ago.
Now the situation, of course, it's not better that in 2016.
Hard.
And
How
this
did,
is not it's not only in Milan. This is it's the same in all big cities in Italy, like Rome, Bologna, Florence, Pisa, Naples. It's always all big cities. There is the same problem and more. In some places in the south, there are also like bidonville that the illegal migrant built it, and near these centers for migrants, and they built it like fake cities made with metal and some scraps, and they're still living there.
shanty towns?
Yeah,
So they're living just like they lived at home.
yeah.
No, I think it's called cultural enrichment.
I don't think that this is cultural enrichment,
What's
unfortunately. But there are a lot of people that from Africa, from Middle East, that they want to live normally and they live normally. But the problem is that the system of the European immigration for this, I think that it's due is project as a project. It's not working because it's enough that, for example, a person from Nigeria, example, uh, it's poor, have not enough money for get a visa for come in Italy legally. or have no education. So there are no legal basis for come in Italy on Europe and work there, like in the US, like in Russia, like in China, like in Mexico. Mm, Theoretically, this is a global um, law. So the migration law, if you want to come and live in another country that you don't have the citizenship or any title of residence, you need to be there as workers, as special workers, or as a researcher, a student, or something like this. Many times, for example, if you want to enter legally in Italy, you can come in Italy. You can come in Italy as a student, follow your university course, uh, have a degree, and after the degree, you have 6 months for search and find a job.
Hmm.
And if you have a job after your degree, you can stay in Italy with a unlimited title permit of residence, like a green card. So this is the legal one of the legal way. No, it's logical. You came as a student, you have a degree, and you are free to search or work in Italy, on Europe. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
but a person from Nigeria without education, without money, without no legal basis for came in Europe, for him it's enough to find a illegal way for come in Italy, and at the first, after his first step in the European territory, said, "I will ask asylum." Okay, why? Because I'm persecuting my country. Okay, why you are persecuting your country? Are you a pedophile maybe and they want to kill you? Maybe this is right. No, I'm homosexual. And in Nigeria, this is a very big problem because we have no right for LGBT people. Oh, okay, welcome. In Italy about Nigeria, this is very funny. Uh, Maybe 2 years ago, but this is happened regularly, was a big scandal because a lot of illegal Nigerians said, "I'm gay," but this was not true.
Yeah. They should make him
And
prove it.
yeah, no, they try to prove to make photos while they are together and hug each other and say, "Oh, look, we are gay." But no, this was not true because they pretend to be gay and Muslim at the same time. How can we?
Yeah. They should, okay, fine, you're gay. Into that room, start proving it. Got the video cameras on.
But of course, the Territorial Commission for the Asylum cannot ask to have a sex with other male, no? But they need some proof, so they will present such photos while they are with other men. But like if me and you are drinking tea and we pretend to be gay, it's impossible to image this. But for the Territorial Commission, such photos that two people are together or hug each other like friends without kiss or something like this, it's enough for this for say, okay, maybe you are gay. But for the regulation that there is today in Europe, the local commission cannot say, okay, for me, you are not gay, you need to go back. They cannot deport you because if there is also the risk of persecution for your political orientation, for your sexual orientation, for your sexual gender identification, also the risk of persecution is a um, valid legal basis for give you the status of asylum seeker. And a lot of people have a profit of this system.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But you cannot that this law it's not valid for all because in my case I have different political view of the mainstream of the European Union. I have different values of them, but people that are pretend to be defender of migrants want to take back my Italian citizenship because they say that you are pro-Russian, you don't deserve uh, our values, our benefits. But which benefits I need to understand? But okay,
High taxes.
yeah, yeah. Oh,
That's an important benefit.
my God, my gosh. Um,
Hmm.
this is another story because I'm the practical example of high tax in Italy. Italy maybe is one of the countries in Europe where the taxes are bigger. Because I'm working for Italian media, and as a worker of the Italian media, I need to pay the taxes in Italy
Hmm.
for the salary that I have from them. And plus minus, I will pay uh, 46, 48% of my salary in taxes. It's We need to say that in Italy there is a universal health care, so all health care is free for all citizen, not citizen, for all it's free. There is pensions that it's a public system, and also for this reason the taxes are big. But this is a social things that are good. But in Italy there are also the politicians must pay it in all European Union. You can imagine that one member of the parliament have a salary of 12,000, 70,000 euro for months.
Ooh, nice,
And also these are public money.
nice, nice. But wait a minute. 48 isn't that bad. I mean, look, the Finns are paying 62. I think it's
60.
62 for the people making over 120,000 euros. For people making under, it was like 65. So even there, they're getting the poor people are getting screwed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, when I was working for Technomont, so I'm in their office, and I'm director of supply chain for the EPC projects on the projects itself. And okay, I got curious. How much does my Italian counterpart make? So the Italian counterpart was making 15,000 euro more than I was making in Russia, in Moscow. He got a car, he
Mhm.
got a company car. I didn't get a company car. But then you start counting, okay, he's paying 48% taxes. I'm paying 13% taxes. And at the end of the day, I had a third more money on my hands, and everything in Russia was one fourth the cost of Italy. So I'm much richer, living in Moscow as opposed to the same
Yeah.
guy living in Milan who's making more. He looks like I mean, he's making more, but they're taking a hell of a lot
Yeah,
more.
but you need to consider also how so the cost of living.
Oh
For
yeah.
example, in Italy, you need to pay like 100 euro for energy every month, plus 20 euro for internet every month, plus yeah, the building expensive for every years that are between 1,000, euro for every year. So it's mm, that the possibility that you have for make some to save your money, it's not big because there are a lot of expensive that are under your bed, but you need to consider it.
Yeah, and then the simple fact the groceries are that much more expensive too.
Yeah.
I was amazed when I walked in this grocery store. It was like, yeah, back then it was I think a euro and a half for a yogurt, and I was paying for equivalent about 30 cents, 30 euro cents in Moscow. Yeah, you know, like, okay. Yeah, prices are very high. Well, let me ask you this. How did the Italian people tolerate all this? Italians are very emotional. You'd think by this point there'd be people out there with pitchforks and torches running the migrants out, running the government down, but they seem not to go out too much. I mean, the
Well,
French go out all the time.
it's true that the Italians are very emotional persons, but unfortunately, the majority of them mm, still unmobilized. So for them, it's more comfortable to accept the situation like it's it than make something for change it.
Wow. But every year it gets worse.
Yeah, but you need to understand new generations. They are not interesting about what's happened in Italy because it's more comfortable to emigrate to North Europe or to the US or to maybe if you have a remote job, you can go in Thailand or in Vietnam, working from there with all year summer and low taxes and enjoy your life. And so for them, it's not important what's happening in Italy. Maybe Italy can explode and they will not interesting about it. The old generations, they are still fossilizing in their life because they have good pensions, they have their own house or apartment or flats, and they are thinking, okay, I have make my part in this life. Now I have these pensions, I can live with it without any problem almost. I have my home and don't need to pay for a rent, my flat, and I continue to live like this. For this, unfortunately, I think the situation will not mm, go to be a better situation, but at least we will see always the same situation in Italy and in Europe in general, because now the new generation are not motivated to fight for some things. They prefer to, okay, I have a remote job for this American company. I can go in Thailand, in Vietnam, in Laos, in Indonesia, working from there at the sea, on the beach, and enjoy my life. What's happened in Italy is not my problem.
Bad, very
And you
bad.
can imagine Italy have more than 100,000 um, young people that emigrate every years,
Wow.
and yeah, they are educated people with a degree. The statistics say that almost 60% or no, sorry, 50, 45% of people that have a degree will emigrate at the first 2 years after finish the study in the
Wow.
university.
Wow. So Italy already has low birth rates, and now you've got the
Yeah,
young leaving.
yeah.
There's no future. Well, not an Italian future for Italy.
No, of course, of course.
There's an Arabic future, or maybe a North African future, or something of that sort.
Maybe you can imagine that also the demographic aspect is very important because mm, usually Italians family have 0.6 children for every family. That means that only one family on two have at least one child. So Italian family have an average one child for a family, but Arabic family they have three, four, five children. So the
Demographics is
rate
king.
it's clear. Yeah, at the long term, the Italians are destined to be less than other um, ethnic mm, ethnicity that are present in Italy now.
And you know, if you've ever, for those who have never been there, if you're ever in a country that doesn't have children, there's no energy in that country. Old people
Yeah,
are an energy vacuum. The energy that the little kids give out. So when you're in a country without children, it's a horrible thing. It's horrid. We are almost out of time. We've got about half a minute left. Uh, Andrea, thank you for joining us. Next time, let's talk about what you're doing. I'm going to be down in those areas, hopefully in about 10, 15 days, sometime soon.
yeah.
Organizing.
mm, Thank you for your
Yeah,
invitation. I'm uh, always available for you. I'm very glad
thank you.
to be your guest.
Thank you. And if anybody, look, if you're still having contacts with Lebanon, we can